careful. I decided to bookend my own songs with two songs by others. The first of these is Turning Toward the Morning by Gordon Bok. It's a song of hope, which I think some of us need at this time. I think probably all of us need it for one reason or another. And he wrote it for a friend of his who apparently had gotten a difficult diagnosis. I always wondered what was wrong with Joni that he had to write this song. But it's one of my favorite songs. I hope you like it too. When the deer has bedded down and the bear has gone to ground and the northern goose has wandered off to warmer bay and sound, it's so easy in the cold to feel the darkness of the year, and the heart is growing lonely for the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow and the seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago? If I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning toward the morning. Now you've heard the chorus, and if you are good at picking up stuff, you can sing it because you got it right there when it comes around again. When October's growing thin and November's coming home, you'll be thinking of the season and the sad things that you've seen. And you hear that old one walking, hear him singing high and thin. You could swear that he's out singing of your sorrows. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow and the seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago? If I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning toward the morning. When the darkness falls around you and the north wind comes to blow, and you hear him call your name out as he walks the brittle snow, that old wind don't mean you trouble, he don't care or even know, he's just walking down the darkness toward the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow and the seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago? If I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning toward the morning. It's a pity we don't know what the little flowers know. They can't face the cold November, they can't take the wind and snow. They put their glories all behind them, bow their heads and let it go. But you know they'll be there shining in the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow and the seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago? And if I had a thing to give you, I would tell you one more time that the world is always turning toward the morning. In my first songwriting class, the instructor, Bob Frank, who was a wonderful songwriter, told us to tell him, his technique was to ask you what a song, for the name of a song you wish you had written, and then tell him why you wished it. And then he would give you a just off the cuff assignment. Are you not?
It's something's breaking up.
What?
Something's breaking up. I think something. A wire might be broken.
Oh no. Okay.
Then it was not your friend.
Dr. Boone will take care of it, hopefully.
Okay, just sing a little bit so we can talk a little bit.
So that's that. So anyway, I mentioned this song, Turning Toward the Morning, that as being a song I wish I'd written, and I still feel that way. All right, but I did write this one. And of course I'm going to have to tune between most songs, unless they're in exactly the same capo position. They don't have to be in the same key, but this cheater here helps me sing in different keys without being a virtuoso guitarist, which I never pretended to be. It's always good to raise that. That was D-tuning, where you turn down the 6th string to be the same as your D string. It's a whole different thing. Anyway, this is a song I sang at my very first concert here, and as I explained then, it came out of an experience I had in my very end of my 60s when I was helping get set up in my Unitarian church for the holiday fair, and noticed that the people that were helping set up with me and were about my age weren't exactly as they had always been. So this is called Falling Apart. It has a very easy chorus. It's just, we're falling apart, me and my friends, we are falling apart. Now you can get that. The last verse, which is slower and you'll know it's coming, and it's has a slightly different chorus, so you can let me sing that by myself. But if you join in by accident, it's okay. Oh, by the way, these are all real people, but I changed their names. So you don't know them anyway. Jim is shorter in stature and larger around, and he takes a lot longer to cover the ground that he used to traverse in a minute or 3 before he acquired his crotchety knee. We're falling apart, me and my friends, we are falling apart. Excellent. You muster your voice when you speak to Lenore. She really can't hear us as well as before, but her hair is blonder than ever, I think, and she's out on the dance floor as quick as a wink. We're falling apart, me and my friends, we are falling apart. That gentleman doesn't remember my name, though he's known it for years. It is really a shame, but I can't quite remember his either. It's true, so we dance all around it as old people do. We're falling apart, me and my friends, we are falling apart. We're all in our beds by 9:45, but we're up in the nighttime again and again. So it's 2 cups of coffee before we can say that we're finally ready to welcome the day. We're falling apart, me and my friends, we are falling apart. Something is going on here. The children are gone and the hard work is done. We've got time on our hands and we want to have fun, so we take a few pills and a cortisone shot. We're back in the game with whatever we've got. We're falling apart, me and my friends, we are falling apart. Now here's the slow verse. We buried our parents and many a friend, and we know in our bones how the story will end. We're joined in a battle that no one can win, but we'll never give up and we'll never give in. We're falling apart, me and my friends, we're falling apart. We're falling apart, You gotta have heart when you're falling apart. Most of those people are still alive. Anyway, and I see them when I go home to Massachusetts. Okay, so this next song is by popular demand. I seem to have to sing it a lot. And I'm certainly going to sing it. I'm singing for one of those events that marketing has on December 5th. I think it is, sometime. And for people who are interested, and I think this will appeal to them because they're in that place where I was back when I wrote the song, which was in 2007, so it was before I ever thought of coming into a place like this. I just wanted to get out of my house, which was more than I needed, even though it was my starter home, it was just me there. And well, you'll see. I've lived in my house since the late 1960s. The children grew up and they went separate ways. The carpets are worn and the furniture's musty. Like me and my friends, they have seen better days. ready to downsize and move to a condo with a pool and a clubhouse and singles galore. But first I must deal with my surplus possessions, the things that the children insist that I store. There are toys in the attic and tools in the cellar. There are books in the closets and bikes in the shed. The children won't take them, but they say I must keep them. I fear I am going to go out of my head. I found a solution. I'll take all the silver, some photos I cherish, and steal out of town. There's a fellow named Harry, they call him the Torch. And while I am away, he will burn the house down. I met up with Harry and gave him some money. I promised the rest when the deed was done. But the coppers got wind of our evil intent, and now Harry and I are a band on the run. So all you grown children, pay heed to my story. Take your papers and tchotchkes while there's still time. Don't pressure your parents till they come to their wits' end. Don't drive your mother to traffic and crime. There were toys in the attic and tools in the cellar. There were books in the closets and bikes in the shed. The kids wouldn't take them, but they said I must keep them. Your Honor, I finally went out of my head. And I think I told you the last time that I was so worried because that I did record that tune and it became went on a CD. That somehow my insurance agent would disappear, and that some strange thing will happen and the house would burn down, and then I would be a suspect. So I preempted the whole situation and sang it for her. And gave her a CD, and she loved it, and asked me to sing in her country club. But in fact, that never panned out. The sad thing was that my next door neighbor, who was also insured by her, had a really weird fluke, and the whole inside of their house was gutted, and they were out of it for a year. The sun was coming through a window and hit a mirror. This was in their attic or something, or upstairs where they didn't go much, and set the curtains on fire. And I was the second person to know about it. A man came to my house from the street and said, "Did you know your neighbor's house is on fire?" And I said, "No." And I looked out the window and there was smoke coming from that one room. He said, "I think you should call them." So I knew they weren't there. I called them, and I called their mobile phone. I knew they were babysitting their grandkids somewhere else. And they never got back to me, but in fact they had got my message, and they had come and were in their car across the street. It became a five-alarm fire with 5 different, it just, took off. The outside stood, but the inside not. And I told them there was a dog in there, and they got the dog out. They found a cat as well, and another cat survived, but never left. I don't know where that cat went. So all was well. They did a great renovation. They had very good insurance, but they were never suspected of doing. Okay, so anyway, this first set of songs is, the theme here is how I got here. First, I realized I was falling apart. Second, I was sick of my house. So then, years later, 2019, I've already come here in 2018, sized the place up, think I like it. But I have a very busy life back then. I'm just retired completely at that point. And I was very ambivalent. But I wrote this song because I had decided to go. I had some money deposited. And I sang the song for friends of mine. And they said, you don't sound like you're ready to go. And I wasn't really. And things happened such that I didn't have to make a decision real soon. And all that will be in the next song. This is called the CCRC song, and I only finished it in the last few weeks because I wrote another one later that I'll sing too. But anyway, I'm signing up for continuing care. It's a sensible thing to do. You look after yourself as long as you can, and then they'll take care of you. You sell your house and give them the cash, of course, as a monthly fee. But your kids will get most of it back someday, and that's okay with me. I'm going into continuing probably die, but I hope it'll be a long, long time until that last goodbye. Meantime, there's plenty of things to do, new people for me to meet. They say that life in continuing care is really pretty sweet. And when it's all too much for me, I'll just get into my car, go visit my kids and grandkids too. It's close to where they are. That's part of the point of this great big change, to be near my son and daughter. And I won't have a single care in the world, and it's very near the water. So don't you think I'm terribly smart to go into continuing care? I have to trust I'll like the folks who've chosen to live there. Of course I'll never forget my friends in fair New England too. But I'm planning for the long, long run, it's a sensible thing to do. I'm planning for the long, long run, it's a sensible thing to do. And then, we all know what happened next. 2020 came. And indeed, no one was going anywhere much, unless they had a house and place in the Hamptons, and they lived in Manhattan, and then they went out there, right? I better check this out. And why am I singing this song? Well, it's part of the saga, and I've never sung it for you, and I did want to sing some of my songs that I hadn't sung for you yet. And this song I wrote, and I sent it in to this Boston Globe columnist who wanted responses to the coronavirus pandemic. And she put a link to my song, which was on YouTube, in her column, and I got 2,500 views. They didn't say they were likes, they just said they were views. But the power of the press. And I did make a version of this in the past tense, but I decided to stick with the old version except for the last line. I sit in silence looking out as I regard each budding tree. Sweet spring is here without a doubt, yet there is little joy in me. A bird oblivious sings a song. He doesn't distance from his friend. He doesn't know that something's wrong. No wonder when this plague will end. I started eating like a horse to try and fix my hollow heart. But eating didn't reach the source. The pain of living so apart from all the people whom I cherish, while worrying that I might perish. Instead, the phone, TV, and Zoom are ways my problem I address. They bring the world into my home and ease this time of loneliness. And virtual concerts please my ears while I am staying safe inside. They help me listen to my fears and by these strange new rules abide. Meanwhile, I hope that someday soon, although of course we know not when, we'll each emerge from our cocoon and hug each other once again. We've each emerged from our cocoon to hug each other once again. Thank goodness for that. And I know some people actually lost dear ones during COVID. I lost a couple of friends, but they were already in memory care, and they're not even quite sure what took them out, but probably COVID. So then when I got beyond that, and I didn't see my kids for a year and a half, and that really made me and my grandkids feel like I gotta get down here where it's not so hard to get to them, because if I took the ferry, it took 6 hours, and fortunately, only 4.5 hours, not even 4, it's not even that much driving time, but it's the waiting time for the ferry and the whole 9 yards. So I still think that's the way to go, but unfortunately I have to gotta do this again. So finally Building 6 was almost there, you know, almost there. For the longest time, it was almost there. In the meantime, I did have time to write a goodbye song. And in the meantime, there's this wonderful article that set me off on this song, which was about this woman who was 101. I have some for you guys before. And she was still going out in her lobster boat in Maine, on the coast of Maine, with her youngest son, who was 78. The others were like 80 and 81. It's like amazing. Anyway. I admire that elderly Mainer who goes lobstering at 101. I'm amazed by her zeal and incredible will to keep doing what she's always done. Independence has long been my credo, but leaning looks good to me now. I'd lie down in a boat just to feel myself float and let someone else handle the bow. Let someone else handle the bow. I get kudos when I can keep going on energy stores that I tap, and it's fun to behave like I'm young for my age, but sometimes I just want a nap. So I'm off to a world of my fellows, folks 70, 80 and more, where bocce ball reigns and cooking's sustained, at least if you find it a bore, at least if you find it a bore. And who knows what projects will beckon, what purpose I'll want to pursue, when I've broken the bonds of the path I've been on and I'm ready to try something new. Like bocce and bridge, which I hadn't done in ages. So wish me good luck on my voyage as I move to continuing care. I'll be closer to family but farther from you, farther from friends. Of this I am sadly aware. I hope I will never regret it, this huge thing that I will have done, when I might have maintained the good life I've sustained and kept lobstering at 101, gone lobstering at 101. She went out, I think, every day, but only 5 hours a day. But still, can you imagine that? Okay, so this one is one that I wrote when I got here. I don't know if it was before my first concert or between the first and the second. And I've sung it, this will be the third time, I guess. But I feel that everybody who has moved in since needs to hear it. And especially those who just moved in and are in the throes of unpacking. Is there anyone here still unpacking? Oh, look at them, oh my gosh. It can take a long time. I lost 5 pounds in the downsizing, and in the 6 weeks it took me to get rid of all the boxes, I lost another 5. And then I went out and I bought 5 new pairs of pants, and then I gained the weight back. Not all of it though. Some of them I can still wear. And this has changing words, so you really, it's an old tune. It's So Long It's Been Good to Know You by Woody Guthrie. And I just change a word in each verse. And in the chorus, I change a word in each verse, and it goes in the chorus, because the chorus is really just taglines. In other words, you're just repeating. So you can just not do anything, or you can look at it and get along, or you can remember from when I sang the verse what the chorus would be like. I traveled south from Mass to L.I., bidding old friends and neighbors a tearful goodbye. The Holiday Inn put me up for a day. Then to Jefferson's Ferry I wended my way, singing J.F. I'm eager to know you, J.F. I'm eager to know you, J.F. I'm eager to know you. It took a long time, but the new building's done, and I'm going to make you my home. The movers they came and the movers they went. Day after day over boxes I'd been finding places to put all the things I had brought. My new friends helped out when I got overwrought, singing J.F. I'm getting to know you, J.F. I'm getting to know you, J.F. I'm getting to know you. The books are all shelved and the pictures are hung, and I'm starting to feel like I'm home. Now 2 years have passed and I'm done with the strife. There are classes and concerts to fill up my life. I'm worrying less cause my future's all set. But the best of the best is the people I met singing J. It's so good to know you, J. It's so good to know you, J.F. It's so good to know you. I took a great leap, now I'm walking on air. And I'm happy to call you my home. And you can all take a bow because that really is you guys. Okay, so this next song, am I supposed to go on over guitar? Nope, go this one for this last song. And I don't think I have to, I've been handicapped by not actually putting these glasses on, which is ridiculous. Now this song, the idea for this song was suggested to me by Don Lindsley, who got the idea from his brother. Is that right? And it was a long time ago. It's the point song. Oh no! What's happening?
No, now it's okay. Don't touch anything. You touch the microphone.
Okay. I got the idea of the song from Don Lindsley, who got the idea from his brother. Was he visiting here?
Yes.
Okay. And he was amazed by our point system. When I came here back in 2022, there were still people on the traditional plan, and they were amazed by the point system too. Okay, so this is to another folk song tune, and I can't, if anyone knows this old labor song, please tell me what it is. Maybe Rhoda knows it, I don't know. I'm living in Jefferson's Ferry, where everything suits me just fine. But the thing that I found most peculiar is a system we use when we dine. And there's you can sing along. The system, oh, by the way, there's one word, another Yiddish word in here, which is fresser, which means someone who really likes to eat, right? Okay. The system we use when we dine. My friends, the system we use when we dine. The thing that I find most peculiar is the system we use when we dine. Each month we are required to gamble on how much we're going to ingest. Are we basic or flex-light or fressers? It's kind of a crapshoot at best. It's kind of a crapshoot at best, my friends. It's kind of a crapshoot at best. Are we basic or flex-light or fressers? It is kind of a crapshoot at best. The basic will give you a credit of 40 to take off your fee. But go over the points that it gives you, that credit you never will see. That credit you never will see, my friends, that credit you never will see. Go over the points that it gives you, and that credit you never will see. The credit for FlexLine is 20, the same calculation applies, plus the tax on the overdue run-up can be an unpleasant surprise. But can be an unpleasant surprise, my friends, can be an unpleasant surprise. The tax on the overdue run-up, it can be an unpleasant surprise. But far worse than going a bit over. What makes us feel so out of joint is to find at the end of our cycle we haven't used every point. As 30-some days reach their climax, we line up with booty galore, with muffins and salads and ice cream. No points we will leave at the door. No points we will leave at the door, my friends. No points we will leave at the door. We line up with muffins and ice cream, so no points we will leave at the door. There are days that I think we are crazy to worry about nickels and dimes, but maybe this habit we cling to, it got us through many hard times. It got us through many hard times, my friends. It got us through many hard times. So maybe this habit we cling to, it has got us through many hard times. So let us enjoy the point system and even the games you must play. Be grateful we never go hungry. There's plenty to dine on each day. There's plenty to dine on each day, my friends. There's plenty to dine on each day. Be grateful we never go hungry, for there's plenty to dine on each day. Very good. You guys are great. Okay, now I think it says here, I get to change to a different guitar because, no, yeah, it does, it says that. This guitar that I'm using, I bought as a travel guitar. It was incredibly cheap, and I figured I can always get another one. I'm probably going to screw this up, so let me know if I do. And I'll go back to this. It turns out this is not a bad guitar at all. And this one has been around a long, long time, like my house. I bought it, my husband bought it for me in 1965. And it had a major redo because it got cracks in the back because I didn't humidify it sufficiently. And it's been behaving a little badly. So I decided to share the burden with the other guitar, whatever, something like that. Okay. So this next song is about my life here, my very recent life here, about which many of you have heard, and it's called The Accident, because on September 12th, well, you'll see what happened. But here I am, so that's the good part. I was really worried when I got into the accident. You know, it's amazing. You know, your life doesn't necessarily go right in front of you. But I thought about the concert, and also a friend of mine who had the same accident and it hadn't worked out so well for her. I don't know if she was driving a different car. I think he accelerated as something happened to him. And I only had to have the door taken off. She had the jaws of life to get out. Anyway, am I still? Okay. And this is also a transportation song, and every good folk singer has to have a transportation song. It could be about a train or a truck, or in my case, just a car. I got T-boned on the highway on Wisconsin in L.I. If it wasn't for the airbags, might have been my time to die. It was 11 in the morning, I was traveling alone. Wondered about that other driver, heard she had a handheld phone. Think she was texting? When that young distracted driver slammed into my driver's door, I heard the crack and felt the impact, shocked me to my very core. Spun the wheel and pulled right over to a diner by the road. Then my iPhone called the cops and I had folks to share my load. Now that was special. And she even texted the kids. How strange was that to get a call from my son right after the crash. On the road where I was T-boned, also known as 347, seems some drivers on that highway want to take us all to heaven. You can see them weave and wander, crossing back and forth they go, like they're trying to inform us that we're traveling too slow. Hey dude, what's wrong with going the speed limit? After hours in the ER, just one bruise was all they found. But my legacy was total, off to salvage it was bound. Now I'm in a new Impreza, very nimble, very red. Won't let those crazed Wisconsin cowboys make me stay at home and dread. No way. But despite my protestations, now I know deep in my soul that however much I'm trying, I'm not always in control. So I'll venture out most carefully to doctor stores and such, and with my higher power, I will try to stay in touch. You know, just in case. I expect there'll come a time when I will pass this car along to some grateful, handsome grandson who will sing a happy song. But when I do the handoff, I will use my strictest tone, saying, don't you ever drive this car while texting on your phone. Don't you never stay off that phone. My daughter wanted me to buy the exact same car that I had because she said correctly that it had saved my life. But it was a Legacy, sedan. It was dark red. And when I saw the Impreza, and when I drove it, which was smaller, hatchback, I said, no, this is more fun. And I would hope it's a safe. Oh, you're looking at me funny, Gene, so. Okay. So this next one, now we get into the old favorites that have nothing to do with anything, although this is definitely about Jefferson's Ferry. About some of you here today, including myself, and that's Walkers and Canes. Yep, we're okay? Yeah, okay. Walkers and canes. So those are rollators, by the way, I'm talking about. Walkers and canes, where would we be without walkers and canes? They slow down the traffic in hallways and stairs, get stuck in the doorway, fall under our chairs. But when we're unsteady, they answer our prayers. So thanks be for walkers and canes. Thanks be for walkers and canes. Love 'em or hate 'em, but don't you forget where you last dashed your cane when the table was set. Then the meal being over, you started to fret. Now where is my walker or cane? I could yearn for the things I can't do, like hiking and biking and such. But I'd much rather try something new, with a little assist from my crutch. With my rat-a-tat cane down to supper I dart, but I have to admit I've a lust for a cart that will zip down the halls with no work on my part. Next step beyond walkers and canes. Walkers and canes, where would we be without walkers and canes? Stuck in our rooms with our aches and our pains, counting our wrinkles and varicose veins like some miserable creature complains and complains. No, we'll open our doors and we'll throw off our chains and give thanks for our walkers and canes. Thanks for our walkers and canes. My cane just has a life, a will of its own and a life of its own. It goes off when I'm not thinking about it. Okay, so now this next song dates back to 2010. And I hesitated to bring it to Jefferson's Ferry because, I mean, it's a little bit raunchy, just a little bit. But I think that Kathy Fallon, I love her brochure that she did, and the illustrations in it. And if you look at the illustration for Frisky Grandma, she doesn't look like a slut, does she? Okay. But I grew up in the 50s when we weren't supposed to have any feelings whatsoever about anything. So this is called Frisky Grandma Blues. Oh, and the other explanation for this song that I want to give. No, things are happening again? Okay, now?
You're okay.
Okay. See, the powers that be don't want me to sing this song. What? How? Was it, if you... I know, Pat, help me. I tell you, it's my mother saying, don't sing it. My mother said she was a lady. That means she could do whatever she wanted as long as she was discreet. She only told me that way late in my life.
Is that better?
Is that better?
I think when you pull the string, it pulls.
Oh, okay. I have to push those back in. Okay. Okay. So the other thing is that that if you have an orthopedic problem or balance or something like that, strength, which is my problem, well, you get an aid. You get a walker or a cane or whatever. So if you have other kinds of problems, maybe you take a pill. So this is about that. little pill. I think I'm in the mood, dear, haven't had my fill. Let's ignore the dishes, won't light my fuse. I've got those frisky grandma blues. Now that we're finally retired, now our hair is gray, we'll cuddle on the glider and we'll rock our cares away. You won't need your sweater to keep you from the cold. I'll turn up the temperature and you'll forget your old, old, old. You offer me a present, a silky negligee. I'll put aside my jammies for another day. Forget about the grandkids and take me on a cruise to drown my frisky grandma blues. Now that we finally retire, now our hair is gray, we'll cuddle on the glider and we'll rock our cares away. Yeah, you can sing with me. I won't need a sweater to keep me from the cold. You'll turn up the temperature and I'll forget I'm old, old, old. Now here's the history. Years ago, we women had some pills of our own that kept us feeling young beyond our prime. But then they said these pills would bring us trouble down the road, and so I let myself give in to time. That's when I tried to retire, let the hair go gray, sat back in my rocking chair and rocked my cares away. Put on a second sweater to keep me from the cold, rattled off my aches and pains, admitted I was old, old, old. Yet sometimes, that often in the evening, when it's getting dark, I see your eyes a-twinkle and feel that old familiar spark. Then I'm glad I'm near you, glad I get to choose to sing those frisky grandma, sing those frisky grandma, sing those frisky grandma blues. That turned out to be a hit in my demographic, back where I came from, because the open mic community was also aging. Okay, so this next song is in fact about my mother, who was a very interesting person. She was she felt two ways about a lot of things, which was a little confusing for me. But no wonder, she was born in 1899, so she grew up in the pre-World War I in a small town in northern Appalachia, Marietta, Ohio, which is right across the river from West Virginia. And she was a Jewish girl in a Protestant town and always felt, very anxious to fit in. And then, but she had a driving desire to see the world and to be a writer, which she did. And everything went well. She was having a grand old time living the life of a flapper and a, slightly bohemian person in Paris and New York. And then things changed. She got married, she had a child, and that child was my brother, my older brother, who had developmental delays, and they didn't know why. And it was clear he also had overwhelming emotional issues as well as some intellectual ones. And ultimately, at 10 years old, he was diagnosed with incipient schizophrenia, which is pretty devastating. He was in residential treatment for a while. He came back. And my parents just hung in there with him, but ultimately he was hospitalized for many years and then came out, lived at home, and was part of the ARC community in Westchester, where he lived in a group home that they helped to found. And, he went to a workshop and he had not a bad quality of life once the pills came in, pills that, or shots or whatever, that helped to control his symptoms, hallucinations and the like. He was probably one of the smartest people in that art system, but you know, he could not live on his own. So anyway, I admired what my mother did with her pain, but also she basically gave up her career because some doctor, as it says in this song, one doctor told her it was all her fault, and that was generally, if they didn't have a clear diagnosis, and when he was little they didn't, and they didn't have a clear cause, then it's got to be the mother. So, and we were actually raised pretty much by nannies who varied in quality. It was probably the best thing in the world for me that she ultimately stayed home, but it didn't do my brother any good at all. So here we go. She was a little Jewish girl from Marietta, went to Paris in the 20s on her own. She wrote a book about the place that was a cellar, took a lover, broke his heart, and then came home. Took a lover, broke his heart, and then came home. But Ohio couldn't keep her there forever. To New York she went to ride into the town. She smoked little brown cigars in fancy bistros, fell in love again and finally settled down. Fell in love again and finally settled down. They had a baby, but she kept on writing stories. The little fellow didn't thrive the way they'd planned. One doctor said he thought her working somehow hurt him, so she let her castles vanish into sand. Her majestic castles vanished into sand. Or she tried to be a good suburban housewife, tried to bury memories of those other days. But as my brother slipped from slowness into madness, she couldn't find a way to make it go away. Nothing she could do could make it go away. So she took her pain and forged her life around it, raising money for the people like her son. She said, this is what they do in Marietta. This is what I'll do until the battle's won. This is what I'll do until the battle's won. So here ends my tale of Mom from Marietta, who enjoyed romance and glory in her day. But the lesson that she left to me is this one: don't stop loving when the pain won't go away. Keep on fighting when the pain won't go away. She would kill me if she knew I told a bunch of people that she had another lover before she was married. I mean, she got married at what, 32 or something. Anyway, so she would definitely approve of this song though, because she was a feminist, but also very feminine. So this is a song I've sung before, but it's one of the pop tunes people like, and I do too, actually. And this is called Lipstick, and as I explained the last time I sang it, I actually wrote it after I encountered a friend of mine in the hospital when I was picking up my MRI, and she had just taken a fall and was getting an MRI too, I guess. She was lying on a gurney below me, and suddenly she says, "Hi, Peg," and I swear she had lipstick on, and it made a difference. And when I was in the ER for 6 hours after that accident, and I didn't look so good. No, I did not look good. It didn't feel good not to look good. Anyway, so. Let's hear it for lipstick. Let's hear it for rouge. An ashen complexion can bring on the blues. Let's hear it for product and the right kind of brush that'll make hair look thicker for a flattering touch. Let's hear it for polish. Almost anything goes. Nothing perks up a Johnny like bright colored toes. Some folks prefer crimson, while others like blue. Whatever your choice, dear, make sure it is you. People will treat you better, even more when you're old, if they see you are trying, or so I am told. Let's not scare the horses, as my mother would say, nor the guy with the gurney who wheels you away from ER to X-ray when you've taken a fall. Look as good as you can, dear, as you glide down the hall. People will treat you better, even more when you're old, when they see you are trying, or so I am told. Now this next one's for you guys. Let's hear it for close shaves or a neatly trimmed beard. Cleaning up for the public should never seem weird. A nice pair of Levi's nowadays is quite couth. Add a cap or your bald spot if you're long in the tooth. Now let's cheer for us oldsters, that's all of us. Will you try to be chic? Will you closet our sweatpants at least once a week? For the sake of our loved ones and folks we don't know, most of all for ourselves, dears, we'll put on a show. Let's put on a show. And thanks to Laura, sure, I don't know if you. Yes, Laura. Thank goodness for Laura. When I was actually in the hospital for like 3 days, when I fainted in the garden, you brought my lipstick, right? And you brought me my cell phone charger and a lot of stuff. And man, that was a lifesaver. They don't give you much there. They're good. They're very good. Okay. Wow, we're doing great here time-wise. So this next song is going to be my last song, but I got more time, so I can do a couple songs after that. I can think of them or remember the words. That's killer with me. When I'm in front of people, something happens to my memory. Now I just did something, and are you still hearing it okay? Maybe I'm learning. So this next song, actually maybe instead of that, because I really kind of want to end with that, I'll do my encore song, which is one that you all know, or that you've heard before. It has the same spirit as the last song. I think I should play it on this one. Hopefully, I haven't changed. Oh, I did change. All right. This is called I'm a Little Bit Deafer. And it took me the usual, I don't know, it was 5 years or whatever, from the time I first went to an audiologist to when I actually got and kept the hearing aids. And yes, I tried Costco, and they weren't that good then. They are now better. So I ended up paying a fortune. But, you know, it really has made a difference. Especially, in fact, I knew I had to get them. I got them in 2020 because I knew I was coming here by then. And I knew I kind of knew that the colonnade was a place where you could not hear very well. And so I knew, even if I didn't feel I needed them in my life then, I knew I was going to need them. But this was written just I actually got them in 2021, I don't know. Anyway, this was written before I had them. Let me see, how does this go? I'm a little bit deafer than I used to be. What's that you're saying? Are you talking to me? But when I cup my ears, I can hear you just fine. Haven't got those aids yet, haven't crossed that line. I'm a little bit shorter than I used to be, 4 inches shorter. That's a whole new me. When I need a front row seat, can't see over the crowd. When my Sam gets a basket, that makes me proud. I'm a little bit wiser than I used to be. I guess I'm learning, it's not all about me. Now don't get me wrong, I still speak my mind, but I listen more now and I try to be kind. And I realize you don't have words, do you? So if you don't have your hearing aids, I'll speak out really loud. There are gains and losses as the world turns round, but I don't stay blue long. Heck, I'm above the ground. So when you see me coming, speak loud and slow, and grab us a couple of seats in the very first row. We'll sit right back, and we'll have some fun, 'cause we may be older, but we're not quite done. Yes, we may be older, but we sure ain't done. Okay, now I can sing the last song, which is not by me. It's by Carole King. It goes better on that other guitar. And again, I think this song was pretty much, as a choice, was inspired by what we have just been through as a country, with division, division, division. And interestingly, it's called We Are All in This Together, but you all know that. It's really funny to see you all reading away. I don't see your beautiful faces though. Well, actually, your beautiful eyes as much as I might otherwise. But I know it's really helpful to have the words. So, yeah. This was written in 1974, which was a very interesting time then, too. Nixon resigned in 1974. We were still very much a divided country with regard to the Vietnam War. And, it was kind of like the chickens were coming home to roost for that particular administration. And for the country, really, as a whole. The Vietnam War having looked to be a terrible mistake at that point. So that's where I think she was coming from, maybe. The first verse, which you don't hear very much, is kind of weird. I mean, but I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Okay. The just are seeking justice. The meek are reaching out for something only children can really know about. And some men cry for mercy while they deny their brother's pain. And some folks laugh for reasons they can never quite explain. We are all in this together, and maybe we'll see that one day, as we conquer our fears together, when we finally find a way. And that recurs. That it has slightly different words one of the times, but otherwise it's the same. And we all need forgiving for all the damage done, for the things we do not thinking, for the hurt that we've caused someone. And we will keep on living, caught somewhere there between the reason and the meaning, the vision and the dream. We are all in this together. We know that seems easy to say, but we don't use the word forever. It's enough just to say someday. We are all in this together.
it immensely, and consequently, I'm going to nag you till you do another.
Another concert, yes. Another concert, but not another song. No, I don't
You
have
can
it.
do another song.
No, no.
Nobody will complain.
No, I don't have any more.
Then another performance.
Another performance, I will.
Another performance.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, how sweet. Thank you so much. Marion, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful.
You're wonderful. Thank
Those
you.
are just beautiful. Those roses don't always smell. They're beautiful though. By the way, the turning toward the morning is also about the seasons. When November comes, I think November is just the coolest month. Never mind April, which T.S. Eliot talked about, but you know, November is once the leaves are gone. Now with climate change, November's not so bad, but it used to be, and certainly in Maine it probably still is. Anyway, thanks very much for coming, and thank you, Gene. It's been a pleasure.